Hands in the room, has anyone actually used AI before? Have you used anything else other than ChatGPT? Nice, so I've got a decent bit of experience. So I always like to say this I am not a specialist in AI in any way, shape, or form. I'm a specialist in getting shit done, and that's basically what AI has enabled me to do. So one of my kind of highest values in business is innovation. And then when I discovered AI properly around 18 months ago to 2 years, it completely and utterly changed how I work, what I can do, and what I've actually done since that point, which I'll basically talk about today. So, an introduction to me, because I think a big part of listening to someone is actually knowing who they are. I know I like to have a laugh and a joke and all that type of stuff, but I am very serious in terms of what I do professionally. So, I own a company called Coach Consultant. Under that, we have an info course product with hundreds of clients onto it. We have a one-to-one agency program, and I have my one-to-one consultancy. I'm also known as the Council House Consultant, so I'm off the Manor in Sheffield. I'm definitely probably the roughest cunt in the mentoring scene, you could say, but I'm quite proud of that. I've got no interest in being a mentor or perceived as one of those people, regardless of how my company performs. And I've recently started a non-profit called the Walk and Talk Men's Club because, like most people in this room, I've seen the worst side of drink, drugs, and everything else on that side. I'm a multi-seven-figure business owner, a dad, a husband, but overall, just very normal. For me, when it comes to like AI and everything, the only reason that I've done what I've done in business is because I've just not given it any other choice. It's probably the only way I can describe it. I was at an event the other day and I said that I'm like an STI. I'll just keep coming back. And it's just, that's all I've basically done. And what AI has enabled me to do in the last 2 years alone is just absolutely fucking mind blowing. So, the revolution. When we go through these slides today, I've got like, I think there's like 12 AI systems. I'm just going to talk over and explain how I use them. I'm not going to be able to show you because it means doing two-step authentication to get into it all, but to adopt to AI, you need to understand like what we are actually in at the moment. So what I was explaining, from 1760 to 1914, that was the Industrial Revolution. So if you're in that spot there, what do you do? Suddenly turn around and go, right, I'm not going to use a fucking machine. I'm like everyone else is, but I'm not. I'm going to stay in the old times. I'm going to continue to have a horse and cart when people have got cars. That's basically what they had to go through. In 1940 to 1990, especially from 1990 onwards, went through the digital revolution. So in that type of period of time, what do? I'm not going to use a computer. I'm not going to use a phone. You can't not. But what we're in at the moment is a modern AI revolution, and this has obviously come to. I always explain that it starts at MI5, comes into billionaire companies, comes into millionaire, and I personally think in 2024, 2025, that's when the AI side hit the general population, and that's why we saw such a massive curve coming up. But we're in this spot, and the biggest element that I struggle with some businesses is just their mindset in terms of understanding that they need to adopt. People know the benefits, but they think that they don't need to. You do. It's literally the exact same. If you do not adopt to AI in the next 10 years, and if you run a business, you will get dicked all over by everyone. There's also ways to use it and not ways to use it, and also how we were speaking about this yesterday, where if you have a good, strong personal brand and you work against AI, you've got a leverage point. But when it comes to productivity, speed, efficiency, analytics, diagnostics, like you can't compete with this shit. And that's kind of what I did last year. I was like, I'm just surrendering to this. I put probably about 150 grand into different investments to see what were the best ways to train it, what were the best systems, different consultations with different people. And as soon as I kind of got into it and I went down that rabbit hole, I was like, oh my fucking God, what even is this shit? What even is this shit? Not even just from a performance perspective, but just from the fulfillment that you get, the freedom that you get behind it. And it's just absolutely, it's infinite power. And a lot of it comes down to perspective. You can't adopt to any, it's like, for example, if someone tried listening to Steve a minute ago, but they weren't into all that type of stuff. It's perspective. I've done exercises like that 25 times and I'll still listen just as much as I will do then. But some people just have a bad perspective on AI. It's like it's fucking just destroying the world, or it's going to replace humans. Is it fuck? It's here to enable us in a way that has just never ever been seen before. But the way that you adopt AI, in my opinion, is you have to completely and utterly change how you have ever done anything in business. How I work now with AI is worlds apart compared to 2 years ago. So from the ground up with how I would think, how I would process information, how I would run outputs, like I had to almost like reteach myself how to run a business. And when you start getting into it properly, you'll start to see. Because it's not about how good you are anymore, it's about how good you can use AI. And this is the AI reality check. So there's a 30% compound annual growth rate. So by the time it gets 2030, like we are just going to be in an absolute ridiculous place. The thing with AI, it means that it speeds everything up in an industrial perspective, but then also you can hit new discoveries, new growth. So like if you look at ChatGPT, it's like Apple, for example, back in the day, they'd release an iPhone update every fucking 6 months. Now you can do this in 5 minutes. I'm at the belief that in 3 to 4 years' time, that there'll be people launching £1 million companies on a 4-week rotational basis. I genuinely believe people will be able to do that. I genuinely believe that the first solo entrepreneur as a billionaire will be an AI founder as well. Because I think that is possible when you really get your head into all of these kind of tools and systems. So the 5 rules or reasons that I use AI is speed and efficiency. We can't compete. We genuinely can't compete. It's not going to be that interactive today, guys. I thought I'd just do a talk at you, and then you can go away and make as many notes as you want and go from there. But speed and efficiency, it's manual versus automated. It's manual versus infinite processing. It's manual versus infinite thinking. And you just basically got to understand that we can't compete with it. Next, number 2 is cost savings. I'll talk you through what I've been able to do with my company in the last 2 years. So 3 years ago, I had 3 companies, 27 team members. I dropped it down and condensed everything into one in 12 months, which I had 17 team members. I've now dropped all of my free programs to run on 7 team members alone. So from a cost savings perspective, it's absolutely disgusting because I simply just do not need to pay half-ass shit-house people like what you'll get in business. Number 3 is better decisions and data power. Like you can hack anything, hack someone's offer, hack someone's website, you can hack someone's content, hack someone's YouTubes. You can just basically completely and utterly skip the trial and error process of business, and this is what when I teach this to like people, new businesses coming in, I was like, I loved business 10 years ago, it was great, but fuck me, you had 5-6 years of just making straight up mistakes. Like, is this messaging going to work? Is this offer going to work? You didn't have this much information to use to process decision making. Personalization at scale, which I think is just brilliant. I'm going to talk you through how to do that in a minute because people get that really, really wrong. So it's like, oh, sweet, ChatGPT can do all my emails and captions and webs, but you can tell it's ChatGPT. So if you can use it and you can abuse it. But whereas I'll talk to you through like transcript hacking and all that type of stuff. So for example, my entire book was written with Claude. I managed to launch that in 4 weeks. I rebuilt my entire program in 6 weeks, and just do some crazy level shit. And number 5, I always say that I'm one big fuck up. Genuinely, like I've fucked up on ways of a human being and a professional that wouldn't even be able to explain. But what you can do here now is you can innovate faster, fail faster, and then also rebuild faster. So what if you, for example, launched an offer, it didn't work, don't fucking matter anymore. Because you thought, oh sweet, that was shit, I'm gonna go on to the next thing. Oh, that was shit, I'm gonna go on to the next thing. Whereas before you'd be like, put 6 months of manual effort into launching a product or a program for it to potentially flop, to then be like, fuck me, I've got another 6 months of rebuilding it again. For example, I've got 2 French clients yesterday. I built out their entire info course product in 45 minutes of the day. They messaged me yesterday going, what the fuck have you done? How have you even done this? Same for an appointment setting company. I built out her entire info course in her own words and their own words. So in French, just hands off and it's just built. So it's nuts what you can do with it. And if those courses didn't work, so fucking what? Well, it took me 45 minutes. We'll go on to the next thing. So AI foundational principles. So I'm a big, does anyone know what first principle thinking is? Does anyone use first principle thinking? If you look at like people like Elon Musk, I'm really, really, really big on anything to do with principles, not just from a system or strategy perspective, but just how you approach something in general. So when you look at AI, that is the basis of pretty much, I'd say 80% of systems out there. So whether it is Claude, ChatGPT, 11 Labs, Chatling, loads of different elements, you'll always have these kind of basic structures. So where people go wrong is they think, oh, ChatGPT shit, because they're only doing that. So they're only coming in and going, can you do this for me? It's got no knowledge, it's got no training, it's got no instructions. And you'll understand this when you start logging into these platforms. It'll literally say knowledge base, instructions, and then the prompt is just basically what you put into it after that. And I'll talk through prompt engineering in a minute as well. So basic prompts will give you a basic shitty result. You then got a goat prompt, which is goal orientated, but then you've got a proprietary goat prompt where I rebuilt my entire program around building 500 proprietary goat prompts last year. So the aim was that is, in essence, within my info course product, nobody needs to do a manual business task ever again. So whether it comes to building a content strategy, a website, a funnel, an email sequence, or it could be designing a coaching Bible or a fucking mindset script, everything. That's what I did last year. I built out over 500 proprietary goat prompts where people can just copy and paste and just have shit done for them like that. The next one is your knowledge base. So your knowledge base is the single most important element of it. You'd love to see my knowledge base because you'd see just how autistic I am. My knowledge base has over 280,000 words of transcripts loaded into my AI systems. So people say to me, "Is like, oh, why have you got that?" Like, or sometimes someone will send me an essay and I'll process it through my AI and give it back, and it's like, you need to understand that my AI now is better than me in any way, shape, and form. Why? Because I'm a human being. I'm emotional. That person who's asked me that question, I might think that they're a con. So I'm not going to put as much effort into it. Or do you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be, or for example, someone could have a request for me, but then my wife's just fucking said something to me. So my emotional reaction is like, I'm thinking about what she said, but then I'm trying to do this. So the AI basically controls a level of like output at high level that is just not humanly possible because we are human, we have emotions. AI doesn't have emotion, and we'll talk about different thinking pathways of systems in a minute. But the most important thing that you need to always look at with knowledge base is going to be documents. So intellectual property is your gold mine. So that is like your offering, your niche description, your core pain messaging. Like we're going to talk about marketing. Anything, if you want to get people to pay you money, you need to have the right words. Say the right words with the right impressions over time. So if you can train a system to enable to have that high level, right type of pain copywriting. So for example, someone come to me the other day and they work with another mentor. They were like doing stupid shit in marketing, and it was like nothing's improving. And I said, all right, sound. I said, have you got any sales calls? And they sent me 400 Word documents of transcripts, and I basically give them back the 30 most repeatable pain points that they had, the 50 most negative self-quotes, and I said, right, I'm going to redesign your top of funnel, middle of funnel, landing pages, VSL scripts, email nurturing around what those 400 people have said at the most highest repetition as well. And it only took me 30 minutes. So when you start thinking like that type of thing is like, what is actually possible? It's ridiculous. So your knowledge base in whatever project and system that you've got set up is the single most important part. And especially like intellectual property, any form of IP that you have around your company. And then instructions basically is how the knowledge base is used and how the prompt is used. So for example, within ChatGPT, you can create custom GPTs or projects. I'm a big believer with Claude. Claude for me dicks all over pretty much anything. And it's really, really simple and easy to use. And then from that point, it's a combination of them all. So rather than just going, write me a social media strategy, you've got a massive proprietary goat prompt, which you don't have to do yourself either. Just get OpenAI to give you the prompt. You've then got a knowledge base that it'll pull your transcript, knowledge, and information and IP from. Then it's got direction on the instruction, and then the output from there. And this is the thing where people go wrong, is you imagine that you've got a team member, and you have to communicate with a team member to get it right. You need to do that with AI. And I think that a lot of people just don't have the patience enough to. So sometimes I'll submit something, it'll come, I'll just pause it going, I already know that's not right, I'll iterate again. Look at, check, I'll pause it, iterate again. And you might have, sometimes I'll probably say that on any output that I have 3 to 5 iterations at a minimum. Because what a lot of people do as well is they will get the output, put it onto a Google document, and then go through editing it all. And I'm like, fuck that, no, just get AI to do it for you, stop it. So that is like foundational principles of pretty much every single system that is out there, mostly. And you don't need to be a prompt engineer. If I open ChatGPT, so for example, if I wanted a prompt for building out a VSL web funnel or whatever it is, I'd literally just go to ChatGPT and ask for the GOAT prompt to do it. Same for building out an email nurturing sequence or building out a lead magnet or a live webinar workshop or how you deliver an offer. Like literally just go to ChatGPT and go, can you give me a prompt for this? That's how simple it is. So like whenever you, and this is what I mean by you have to retrain yourself on how you operate. Because normally what you do is you sit down and see that task and you're like, fuck, right now, when have I got time to actually do that? Whereas all I'll do there is I'll look at that and go, right, sweet, how can I do this a lot faster? I'll go straight to ChatGPT. I'll ask for a GOAT prompt structure. It'll give me a GOAT prompt structure. Then I'll insert that GOAT prompt into Claude or ChatGPT or another different platform. The same for instruction manuals. So where you're with a lot of AI systems, so like chatbot systems like Chatling or 11 Labs to an extent as well, it'll need instruction manuals. And then all you do is you go to OpenAI and ask for the instruction manual for that AI platform. So like OpenAI is like my central hub because it's got the most database in it. And then all I'll do is I'll basically extract that and put it into different elements. So does anyone use custom GPTs? So same for a custom GPT. So what's one repeatable task in someone's business that they do every day and it does already? Mine's replying. Building what? Doing a call for a client. So if you want, or even it could be like say a call follow-up. Yeah. So if you basically had Fathom AI, you could then basically go onto OpenAI and ask for an instructional prompt for a custom GPT to review the call and give actionable structures on the way back of it. You then just copy the transcript from Fathom into that GPT and it'll give you a step-by-step structure. Fathom also does that automatically for you as well, in all fairness. But that's how you need to think here is like, how can I speed up everything that I'm doing and do it all at high level as well? Does everyone know where I'm at with prompt engineering? Yeah? So don't do anything manually ever again. There's certain things you do, your personal brand, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, which you, especially in the AI era now, is like the biggest leverage point that you've got. But for pretty much everything else in your company, it can be done with AI. Using it and abusing it. So I've worked on 3 chatbot systems this year. In my opinion, diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. You're looking at upwards of 25,000 outbound DMs a month. A 1 to 3% response rate. Like for me, that's just not a good enough KPI to scale. I'm never saying never. I'm not saying that in a few years these chatbot systems aren't going to be fucking mint, but for me, for where it is at the moment, I do not use them. But that's just based on my own experience, and I also believe that the market at the moment, if you're in marketing or business, in the last 2 years has been a fucking challenging market, and I think that the big reason for that is the amount of bullshit that happens on DMs. I do not believe in using AI to do anything to do with your personal brand, because if you look at it's something daft like 85% of content by the end of 2026 is going to be AI on Instagram or something daft like that. So I did a video the other day and it was like, do you know when you see that penguin walking down and penguin does a backflip and you're like, fucking hell, how's that penguin done that? And you suddenly realize it's AI and you're like, oh, piss off. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be everywhere, yeah. So all these deepfake, fake videos, fake pictures, fake captions, fake everything, it's going to be everywhere. So the actual one leverage point that you've got is your personal brand and your unique perspective, your BTS, what happens in your life. What's your way of doing things? Like what's your certain types of processes? Because I think that if you build a personal brand while adopting to AI, it's infinite power. And then the next one from that point is just fake knowledge. I don't believe that you should ever claim that you can do something just because you can do it with AI. I've built loads of different info course products in my time. So I'll use AI to build it, but I'd never come in and be like, right, fucking trading or something. I'm shit at trading. I've got no idea. I'd never turn around and go, right, yeah, I can take that business on and help you with it just because AI will do it for me. I think that there's a big element to this which does require a lot of moral responsibility as well. But everything else, yeah, I'm going to fucking abuse the life out of it. Why? Because it makes my life easy. Makes my life easy. It makes me a shitload more money. I have obviously an addiction to dopamine, so the rate and speed that I can get stuff done is just incredible. There's nothing worse than being a business owner where you've got a stacked reminders list and it's going up into 15, 20s and 30s and you sat there going, how the fuck am I going to get through that? It's a horrible, horrible feeling. So the AI side for me is not just about the results that you can get from it. It's just like how it actually makes you feel and how you can actually operate as well. So my impossible achievements with AI in a 2-year period. So I rebuilt my entire info course program around it last year. I did that within 4 weeks. To put that into perspective, that is 17 to, and there's about 18 courses now, 15, 20 units in each, all built with AI goat prompts inside it. If I was going to do that previously, that would have taken me minimum 12 months. I know that because that's what before I did what I do now, I had an education company, I've had a meal prep company. So I know what time it would take, and it would have taken me 12 months. I have had a framework for writing my book, The 50-50 Rule to Life and Entrepreneurship, which is about 50% machine, 50% human, which is through my life story, which I had a bit of a fucked up childhood, which is why I'm a bit weird now. But I wrote that book with trained Claude, and that was done and launched within 8 weeks. I've been trying to do that for 4 years, by the way. It's just the fact that I wanted to do it, but it was just impossible to even get around to actually doing it. I regained an extra 28% profit margin back within a 4-month period. If you run a company like mine, you'll know that that's fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Like, I've been scraping fucking 5 to 6 to 7% back. Like, I was smashing it here. But yeah, I literally got to a point where I was like, I don't need a media team. I don't need an email marketing strategist. I don't need these success managers. I don't need these community support people. And then it just got to a point where now I have 7 core team members. And because of that, we've just been able to bring stuff down so much, even down to the amount of money that we have to spend on ads now, because as messaging is so hyper targeted, we get a much bigger reward from it. So there's loads of different avenues here as well. And then at the moment, for example, YouTube's, I do YouTube all personal brand driven, but for example, my Spotify podcast that I get probably 5 to 10 messages about weekly, it's not even me doing it. Claude's building transcripts, 11 Labs does the audio file, boom, done. So a Spotify podcast that goes out each week, easy listeners, not even me doing it. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's absolutely fucking nuts. So the first thing that you need to look at when you start looking at AI is selecting the right system. This is not about standing there and having a wank over everything, like, oh, these are all mint. Like, I didn't do that. Like, I got to a point where I was like, right, I'm going to focus on one. I'm just going to get one right. Because what you'll find is like, look, like, for example, ChatGPT and Claude is the same as, like, I wouldn't be able to count how many systems which are similar to them, but I go on like function versus purpose. So for me, like, I don't need an AI system to come in and blow my mind. I fucking hate automation. So there's like, what's make.com? Make.com connects loads together. I remember someone showed me that and I was like, I don't want to that's it in my head. Like, this is supposed to make it my life easy. So everything that I do is like, when I've got a big task in my business, I just look going, right, how can I get AI to do this for me? And if sometimes it's like, oh, we haven't actually got something there. So all we do is we go to AI and ask, just like, is there an AI system what can do this for us? And then we'll trial and test loads. I would say that, so I have 2 people in my team where it's their job now to just hunt AI tools because we've invested so much into this. And we've probably been through over 100 AI systems, and we predominantly use about 12 now. So, like, you know what I mean? You've got to go through the book. But the thing is, those 90% what we don't use, it'll be someone else's gold mine. I'm very open-minded. I don't believe in like, this is the way that you do this or this is that. It's about just finding what is going to be right for you and what's going to work for you. Transcripts are without question the biggest gold mine that you've got. It is the most ridiculous fucking thing that I have ever seen in my life. Genuinely, like, after 12 years in business, that what you can do with your voice and personalization at scale and how you can hack transcripts is absolutely mental. So rather than guess, let's just say that you're targeting a niche or a certain type of business, or you might have a client catch-up call and you're kind of guessing your messaging and your pain points on your marketing elements. Don't need to fucking guess anymore. So I have an automation that pulls through all of my sales calls into a Claude and just gives us a weekly report on what's the top things that people are struggling with at the moment. So when someone's on a sales call, within 3 to 4 days from that point, I'm already targeting that fucking pain. I'm already sending them an email on it. I'm already hitting them with a piece of content. I'm already just in my top of funnel. Because what you'll find, especially you'll find out soon with the marketing element, is people's pain points come in seasons. They change in the chop. So the more reactive that you can be to what someone is experiencing in that moment, the better response that you're going to have for your company. So sales calls for me is probably, I would say, like, the first thing that I do with any business is I was like, have you got calls with clients talking about how shit they feel? From that point, I can legitimately design every single avenue of a marketing and messaging element just from that alone, at a level of accuracy which would have normally taken years of guesswork or manual going back and forth to kind of get it. So if you're not using Fathom, I would highly recommend that you start using Fathom for any online call that you do. Client calls, team meetings, video recordings. Like we even do, my operations manager now has the monthly performance reviews, and then he'll use those transcripts to be like, right, what development plans can we put in place? And he'll look at different dynamics from there. But for me, like you get transcripts, put it into Claude or ChatGPT, it's just fucking, it's mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing. So systems. So all I'm gonna do now, I would love to just pop up and go through, but it'd be a bit awkward. So I'll just talk through why I use these certain ones. So Claude is based on Anthropic. So I try to explain this in a really simple way. ChatGPT is a machine. It's very objective driven. That's its functionality. It's based on output, whereas Claude's got like more of a human thinking pathway. That's why they're in basically battle together for a while. But when you go into Claude and you use Claude, you'll basically, you'll see immediately just how it communicates, how it talks. It just sounds more like a human. So even on a baseline level, before you even think about training it with your own transcripts, like you can get it talking pretty well. When you then load your transcripts into it, it's got infinite power. I use Claude for every single thing I'm on a writing basis. And as a founder-led personal brand, which is 90% of companies, or it should be coming into this era now, 90% of what we do is writing. Social media, emails, captions, lead magnets, building out courses, client messaging. Like when you really sit and think about it, you're thinking, how much am I actually writing here? And it's a huge element of it. It's got massive functionality, so it's pretty much like putting trading stuff out of fucking business and that at the moment, because it thinks like a human, and on a trading element, it needs to have that emotional reactivity to it. So like Claude for me is without question the #1 platform for the amount of people that I work with, especially if you work with people as well. So once you get into that, it's very, very simple. You have normal chats, never use that. I go straight onto projects, get my transcripts in there, set up my instructions now I want it, and then I'll set up instructions. So I have like, I worked it out the other day. I have something like 86 projects on Claude that I use. I only pay £90 a month, and I asked Claude to analyze every project and how I was using it, and basically said, how much would this cost me normally to pay for it? And it'd be over £100,000 a month if I were going to pay people to do those roles for me versus 90 quid a month. Yeah, 100%. So you can build the designs out from that. I prefer ChatGPT for building out websites. I just think that it's got better. Claude has got incredible coding, but I just prefer ChatGPT because of the speed and iterations that you can do on it. Yeah.
So in my old company I used to work for, I had a team of 25 doing my software engineers, designing UX, UI, everything like that. Is there a real distinct possibility that over the coming years these people are just not going to be needed?
I don't think so, not yet. I think no, I don't think it's that. I think that there's always going to be a need for customization. So there's gonna be a drop, but I also think that everyone's gonna get this massive reality check where people are gonna spot AI from a fucking mile off. So people are gonna be less inclined to use it, and they're gonna want more personalized websites. They're gonna want more personalized content strategies, because they realize that if they go in that same linear fashion to everyone else, they're just gonna sit in market saturation. So I think that's going to be a big crossroads. People are going to use it really, really badly and then be like, fuck, we've lost his identity. And then they'll come back into customization of it. My best mate and someone who's in my team I've worked with for 10 years, he's a website designer, and he comes to me all the time. And I said, I genuinely don't think it's going to be a problem. And also laziness. People just don't want to do it. Or when someone doesn't know how to do something, they avoid it altogether. So I personally think like online side is going to be safe. But yeah, Claude, writing. And then when you like, even as like a mind map, if you just put writing down and then sit down for 5 minutes and go, how much do I write? Where do I write? 90% of that would be done on Claude. And when you really start to sit down, you're like, oh my fucking God, how much am I actually doing manually here? That Claude, without question, changed my life. That's what I would describe it as. ChatGPT, so OpenAI, I will use it for prompt engineering, Goat prompt engineering, proprietary Goat prompt engineering. I'll use it for generating instruction manuals. I have a KPI dashboard in my company, which has like 180 different KPIs on like a full singular spreadsheet so I can see all my numbers. The reason that I use that now is like when it comes to end of January, all I do is control, copy and paste and stick all these. I just dump the numbers into ChatGPT and be like, give me a business plan for next month. Same for end of quarter review, copy and paste all the KPIs from the sheet, stack it into my custom GPT, give me a business plan for next month. So I use ChatGPT for mass data because that's very objective. This is how you need to think is like ChatGPT is objective, boom, numbers in aggression, right? So I stack loads of stuff into ChatGPT, but then I'll also look at what am I doing inside my company, which is taking up a shitload of time. So sometimes I have people who will send me a massive message and it's like an essay dissertation. So I have a GPT, which is a message summarizer. So for example, if someone sent me something huge, I'm like, I want to read it and I will read it, but I'll just copy and paste it into that GPT and be like, right, analyze this and just give me the 5 core talking points and areas to support. For example, my onboarding for a company, I have an overview discovery and a deep discovery based on the questions that they submit. I'll then run that through my GPT to give me the top 10 priorities in the highest of importance to solve first. So that would have normally been an hour to 2 hour task for me. It's done in 5 seconds. So ChatGPT and custom GPTs is most what I use it for. I don't do much on a website build perspective, but I know a lot of people who do a lot of stuff on there. Fathom AI. So Fathom AI is basically an automated AI note taker. You've got loads of different ones. You've got Otter, you've got Fireflies, you've got fucking everything. I love Fathom because it records the actual video itself. It records the actual transcript itself, and it's also got like 2-point user friendliness on either end. So if you you weren't sure on what was discussed or you forgot something, you can just go onto that chat and ask it questions going, I remember this, but where was it in the call or whatever it is on that side. But Fathom for me is that I have it connected to every single call that I do. I do live client podcasts and stuff for YouTube, and I get it all onto there because it just means that once I've got those transcripts, there's no fucking about having to manually write stuff up. I can just process it and get it to them straight away. But they also get a summarized version as well. Gamma app. So Steve's been using this. I'm been using this. A big part of my career has been in building info courses and hosting live webinars and doing live workshops. So Gamma for me is fucking brilliant. I'm the most basic motherfucker when it comes to design. As you can see, like I love, is it easy to read? Is it user friendly? Like you can 100% do loads more design work on this, and there are 100% better design presentation AI tools out there. I just love Gamma because it does the shit that I need it to do. Can you make me a really simple, easy, user-friendly presentation? Done, right? But then all you think about from that point is going, well, I still need the content for the fucking presentation, don't I? So when you start thinking about like what we need for making money, it's going to be live workshops, it's going to build out assets, building out lead magnets. Go straight onto Claude, ask it for a 25 slide presentation, 3 core bullet points on each, bang, Claude processes that in, copy, paste, stick it into Gamma, bang, done. So like when people are, I ain't got time to build a lead magnet, I ain't got time to do a live workshop, I ain't got time to do a live training, I ain't got time to build out an onboarding series. I love it because I'm like, you lying bastard. you lying bastard. Oh, mate, yeah, try go Claude, mate. But so it's like, there's no reason for someone like you should be doing a free resource on Instagram every single week, bro. 20, 25, 30 emails a week. There's no reason, there's no excuse to not be able to do anything in business. And that's what I love about this, because I love calling people out, where it's like, you can't not take it. Gamma does have resource function. It's wank, don't use it. So like building PDF documents, so all of my presentations, all of my lead magnets are all done on a slide by slide basis on Gamma because it formats a lot more cleaner. You've also got a website design builder on there, but again, it's just wank. So you might want to write, if you want to use Gamma, go paste in text from Claude, traditional presentation format, process, and then done. So if you don't click traditional presentation format, it can be a slide that's that big and slide that's big. Whereas that just comes, if you're seeing, do you know what I mean? Little tips like that when you're getting your head into it. But like, for example, my client success director and EA worked with a client yesterday. She processed 126 presentations for Gemma, do you know, appointment setting company. So I built the content and Beth built all the presentations yesterday. She's not even lifted a finger yet. And that's something that would take weeks. I know, it's what pisses me off because I've done it. And that's when people are, I'm not using that. And I'm like, honestly, if you want to go back to how we used to do it, that's absolutely fine.
How much is that?
That's, oh, it's not much, 25 quid a month or something. And I pay for Gamma Pro. I don't think it's that much. Oh, is it? Yeah, it might not be. Mate, I ain't got to. That's probably another fun fact about me. I have no idea what happens financially in my company. Is it? Yeah. 11 Labs. So 11 Labs is what I use to process my Spotify podcast. So my audio book for the 50/50 rule is also done 11 Labs. So I didn't spend fucking 3 months having to record it. It's like it's funny if you know me and speak to me, you'll kind of know. But if you don't know me, you wouldn't have a clue. There might be some things, but what you can do when using 11 Labs is, so my podcast now, I have my Claude project set up, so it already formats it for 11 Labs for me. So when you've got Claude set up, that's how you need to think, is that just because you've got a project, you don't just leave it there. You just keep adding instructions, make this better, make this better, make this better. And then like you can format stuff perfectly. So for some clients, when we're looking at paid advertising, the amount of rotational creatives that you have to do is fucking disgusting. So for example, if we're like, look, we want to have 6 talking reels, we've got some graphics here, and then we've got 6 voiceovers, I'll be like, right, sweet, I'll sort voiceovers, and then you just get the creative sorted. So I use 11 Labs for quite a lot of different stuff, but for me, the podcast element is the biggest part. But again, that platform there has so much of a functionality, but I just did it for, I can't be fucking arsed to record a podcast each week. What can do that for me? Sweet.
Does it sound similar to you?
Oh, yeah.
Cost a lot.
It is a bit more spenny. We process a lot though, so we're doing like, if you're only doing short clips, it's fuck all. Yeah. Yeah, you have to. We only do longer form stuff, and you have to fuck about with it. You have to give it the right transcript. But the thing is, like, we fed 11 Labs like 12 hours worth of my video recordings. So that's what I mean. Because the minimum is 2.5, 3 hours to get a voice, and then you still have to fuck about it and change with it. But it's just the same as anything. Like, once you get that right, that's now easy. But we pay quite a lot in credits just because I do a 45-minute thing on it per week. But it's worth it. I get messages every single week on my Spotify podcast, every single week. And we were speaking like this walking down the mountain yesterday. It's like marketing and business now is a game of positive impressions. So if I'm like, right, if I can hit Instagram and Facebook and I can hit my raw video logs like what I'm doing here now, and I've got my Spotify podcast, if I can keep stacking these positive impressions, then eventually it gets around to someone wanting to work with me, which is what I want. Poppy AI, I fucking love Poppy AI. I think that you will love Poppy AI. Have you been on this? If you're not, so I've genuinely, if you're into any form of digital marketing and online marketing, Poppy AI is fucking mental. So I work with like, and still do some of the biggest influencers like on Instagram. So you're like talking 2, 3, 4 million kind of followers. So a big part of their job is to obviously maintain engagement and maintain that viral reach. Right? I'm wank on social media. I tell them I hate social media. I delete it tomorrow. I'm sorry for people who are watching this on YouTube now, but I do hate Instagram. Right? I delete it, but I don't need to be a social media specialist. So, for example, Georgia Hines, one of my clients, I remember I said, can you get me a link of over 100 viral Instagram reels that you've done? Put it onto a Poppy AI board and I hacked her own videos and then gave her 25 creatives back which followed the exact same structure. And she messaged me straight away going, I'd have paid 25 grand for that. Because that's all they have to do is they have to maintain engagement multiplication. But Poppy AI that's something that is costly. I think I paid a few grand to just pay for it for life, and then I pay for credits, but I never really hit the credit amounts. But Poppy AI, like if you have high level content creator clients, or if you want to really get into it yourself, I don't think there's anything better. So like I've got boards set up where I've got competitors from YouTube who have linked up all like 20, 30 YouTube episodes, pulled it into there with their IP, and then I've produced them scripts and ideas based on hacking the most viral YouTube videos from competitors in their space. That fucking nuts. Nuts. Right? But you can do the same for websites. You can hack, say when you get served an ad, you save the link. So if you just keep saving all these, you can hack people's ads, you can hack people's YouTubes, you can hack people's Instagrams. But most importantly, I think the highest value thing that I've used it for is hacking someone's own content who has already gone viral and been a content creator. No, I've not used it. Oh, does it? I fucking need to have a look at that because that's where I'm looking forward to hearing yours on ads today. Yeah. Prosp AI. This is brilliant. So, has anyone used LinkedIn in the room? Biggest ball ache task to do with LinkedIn is building connections. Fucking, it's the most slow, painful process in the world. Like, you obviously, the more network that you've got, but it is a big element of you need to spend time on LinkedIn to grow your LinkedIn. You've got to be sending questions out. You've got to be interacting. You've got to be doing all of that. Prosp AI just does it for you. So you will basically use. So I use this on LinkedIn now just because it's just something that I don't want to do. So I get the AI to do it. This will basically design who our actual market is. So we'll set up an actual spec of that. Then what that will do is that will automate sending out an increased amount of LinkedIn connections per day. It will also interact and comment on people's posts and stuff, which is a big part of building out your LinkedIn profile. And it will also automate the introduction message to it, but it won't have the conversation afterwards. And that's what I love about this, because it's not having a chat back and forth, but it's doing all the bullshit work. So it means that my COO or whoever's on that account can do the chats and conversations afterwards, but all my LinkedIn connection requests, all of my comments and interactions and all of that shit is all just done for me. We only started using that 6 months ago. My LinkedIn's pretty appalling. I think I've only got 1,000 followers or something on it, but I only had 300 about 6 months ago. So it's growing at a decent rate. And actually, my content that I'm posting on LinkedIn is pretty shit in all fairness. But I think that's one of the best. I recommend that to quite a few people at the moment.
You found it alright? You found LinkedIn good to get
I ain't built up a big enough profile yet. But for me, so like we've scaled horizontally within fitness, whereas in the last year or so we've gone vertically. So like 25% of our client base now is open businesses, and I don't want that to be 25%. I want that to be 60. I probably eventually want a 60% open business, 40% fitness. And I'm also aware that the way that I'm going to do that is going to be building my LinkedIn. So in a year or 2 years time from that, when that's got 5,000-6,000 connections, I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to tap into that market. But that's sometimes how you need to think. And that's where I think people fall short with a lot of this, is because they're not getting an instant reward from LinkedIn, they classify it as pointless. Whereas like the game that I'm playing is so far ahead, it's not going to pay me back now, but it fucking will pay me back based on what my goal is down the line. Yeah. It's a very long. Oh yeah, you've got to be so consistent with it.
It's one of them where you don't want to comment on shit all the time. It's out, but once you start getting in the rhythm of it, it's pretty easy, isn't it? It's a good place to stay yourself like an expert in the field.
Yeah, definitely.
People who don't go on Instagram, Facebook, and more successful.
Yeah.
More money on it as well.
Oh yeah, fucking 100%, 100%. Ranked AI, I fucking love Ranked AI. We use Ranked AI. I've recommended it to quite a few people. So it's never going to be as good as a company that can do proper SEO, but it does the job for me. So I pay like £90 a month for my SEO on my website to just be done for me. I've paid upwards of like £1,000 a month for SEO and shit before, but it's just a tool that we recommend out. You can partner with it as well, but we just recommend it to clients who need to actually build local targeting. Search engine optimization. So basically just where you're actually ranking.
All right, yeah, because people pay a lot of money.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah. Well.
Top in Google searches.
Notebook LM, I love this. I absolutely, right. The only thing that pisses me off about Notebook, right, for someone like Steve, where he's teaching and doing this type of stuff, or anything that you're doing there, or even if you've got leadership and you manage people, Notebook LM is fucking mental. But I hate the fact that it's on Google and it's only easy to use if you've got a Google account. It does not make any. We've even messaged them going like, why on earth have you not like just made this for an open email to use it? And also, you can't use, well, the last time we checked, you can't use a company email on it as well. It has to be a personal Gmail. Do you know what I mean? Like little stuff like that where you're like, you fucking bellends, you've got an incredible thing there, but it's difficult to use.
We copied Gemini. Make a separate Gmail account to sign up for that one. Got like, God knows how many workspace lines.
Yeah.
It's prime for the business life.
And I don't understand it, because this here is, out of all the things that we're going to say, I love this more than probably all of them. Like you can basically get a transcript from a video and you can create a mind map off the transcript. You can fucking oh God, it's got so much functionality. You can put a website from someone else, and if you want to, or let's just say that you've got a live call recording transcript, or you've got even an email or something, you can build podcasts in there where someone can communicate with a podcast and ask it questions. Like it's got crazy, I'd have to show you, but like it's got crazy level functionality. But if you have a team and you're looking at like internal team training and breaking concepts down and mind maps or like an education basis, like, oh my God, it's mental. So good. But it's just, but then the principle of it is just difficult to actually get moving in the first place. Bookie AI. So Bookie, I personally don't use Bookie AI because my wife's just, that's her job to be my CFO. But I know a lot of people where they're spending hours and hours and hours configuring the books every single month, or they're paying £400 a month for someone to do it. And it's just a painful ass process. So that's basically similar to a Fixer, which I'll talk about in a second, which is an email thing. It will basically automate and configure your payments. And then what it'll do, it'll leave 10% at the end where you configure it yourself. And every time you configure it, it just gets more trained and trained and trained and trained and trained. So rather than spending hours yourself per month or spending X amount of money on a bookkeeper to do it for you, within a 2 to 3 month period, you can pretty much automate your entire bookkeeping process. Also, one of the biggest headaches and pain points of companies is maintaining a accurate and up-to-date profit and loss. Like that's the only thing I don't like about my wife doing the CFO stuff, because I'm always waiting for it to come around. Whereas if you've got something that's, it's never off. It's just constantly coming through. Like the accuracy that you've got of your current position of your company is so fucking good. Especially for if you've got like multiple moving parts or 2 different businesses, for example. Like it's an incredible tool. So if you
You also use that full report.
yeah.
Because the reports you get from Zero.
Wank on it, yeah.
So you can use that to actually say what's our biggest selling product.
Yeah.
What time of the month does that sell best? When's our busiest time of day? So you can use it for like resource tracking.
Oh yeah, you can use it's got mad level functionality inside it.
You can use any other AI tool to support it.
You just connect that to Xero or QuickBooks. Connects up. Fixer. I personally don't use Fixer because I don't really do much on email other than general standard stuff. But I have a lot of corporate clients and people who work in corporate or in management roles, and they're getting 250, 300 emails a day type thing. And I've basically got them in with this, and they're like, it's changed my life. Like it's got some of my clients, it's saved them that much time that they've been able to actually launch new offers and businesses because they're not doing 4 to 5 hours of emails a day. So this is fucking nuts, right? So if you get 200 emails in a day, what this will basically do is it will inbound write up drafts. If it's a fake email or something that doesn't need a response, you know what? It already knows that. I don't even know how it does. But if you get like 150 actual people emailing you per day, it will then basically write up 150 drafts to that email. And then every single email that you edit or adjust, so it might be like responding like this or adding a link or whatever, you then basically edit these drafts and click send. So every single day and every email that you send, it gets trained based on how you reply to stuff. So if you think about the time and effort it takes to digest an email, to go on to then write that fucking email out, to then have a system which basically thinks, acts and operates like you and drafts up all of your responses. So all you do is go and change a few words or add a specific link or do this. Like it's an absolute fucking game changer. And the people I've given that to have just said it's the most ridiculous thing that they've ever used. Yeah, mate.
I didn't know that, so I knew it worked in AI.
I've got to kind of clean the book more. Yeah,
You just manage your drafts.
When we finish this,
Mate, you literally draft your emails up. The thing with that is it's just patience. People don't have patience, and that's the thing I don't like about AI is people have lost patience. They think because AI is here, it's suddenly going to do it all for you, and then people fall out of it. Like that is not going to be perfect straight away. All of it's not perfect straight away. But if you put a little bit of time and effort into it, it's like it's life changing. It's like Claude for me was legitimately life changing because of how much shit I have to write. Like, I used to run my daily email marketing sequence. It used to take me 7 to 8 hours to write 30 emails. Like, when you sit and think about that, and you're like, the topic, the idea, the subject, the making sure you're saying all the right words, you got it formatted. Now I can go, boom, done. Do you know what I mean? So like, but if I use Claude just basically, and not like I use it now, it'd be shit. And I could easily turn around and go, "This is wank. I'm not using that." But you just give it a little bit of time and patience. Like, it will completely and utterly change your life. And that's the thing for me there. So just one step at a time. You don't need all of them. Obviously, I'll put the slides into, or Steve can put the slides into the group afterwards. But if I was in like, then I always like look at the biggest bracket of broad audience. If I was a business owner, what would I do and where would I put my time and attention? It'd be OpenAI with custom GPTs and Claude. If you get your head around how to use OpenAI for prompt engineering, it's fucking nuts, because you remove any manual task that you've ever done. If you've got a repetitive task in your business, so I have like upwards of 35 or 36 different custom GPTs, which is stuff that I just know that I do all the time. If you can get a repeatable task, which is now automated, that's going to save a lot of time. And Claude for me is just an absolute fucking joke. Done?
We've got time for questions.
Yeah, go for it.
So say in our business in like restaurant and the cafe, like my wife will literally spend 4 hours updating the menu. Like which one's the best one to use?
Claude, mate, get that. Have you got your previous menus?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
we've got. Yeah.
you just get your previous menus, get them into a project,